For the sake
Exactly.
of the fact that people came for this very reason, let's get that site going. And Matt, I've got your screen up there, so it's live for us to see. Let's go through it. Tell us what you've got, and well, I guess we'll start with saying what I went live to our StoryBrand community on the Facebook group with a template that I just said, hey, everyone, you ask me all the time, what should a site look like? Here you go. Here, take this template. And then that's what I gave to you and said, Matt, could we build this out? And then you actually got busy and then doing stuff, launching this platform. And so I actually had to build it. And so having never used this software and just in its infancy, I built this, literally what you're about to see here, yesterday morning. So I was like, man, we got the webinar coming up. Matt and his team are jammed with all kinds of things. I'm going to build this. So I built this out. And obviously Matt's team has developed the platform, so it made it incredibly easy. But I just want to show you what you can do in literally an hour and a half. And you'll kind of see why you can move so fast with it. And maybe even because I've already got some of the template here, you'll be able to see why you can just literally plug and play. If you've done a brand script, you just stick that thing right in there. And so Matt, why don't you show us around?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think a lot of you will have seen John's template from the Facebook group. But basically, what you'll see here is as we work through it, John has basically been able to come in here and add the necessary sections that help him communicate the problem. Talk about the different benefits here. So he's been able to list them out. And obviously, what we've got here is sample content in here that you would essentially see for your site, be able to come in here and add things. But then what he's done is he's been able to kind of enhance the content using different types of sections through the website. So, and even within this, there's a lot of flexibility that we're gonna show you in a second here in terms of how you can set this up. But the idea is that you can essentially set it up any way you want that communicates best. One thing I do want to say here is that you guys are actually getting an incredibly behind the scenes look right now. I mentioned to you that we've got 600 customers currently operating on this platform. They haven't even seen what you're seeing right now. This is something that we're probably still 2 weeks out from launching. So I say that partially to say, hey, this is exclusive, this is fun. I also say it to say we are actively developing this. So if I hit any glitches along the way, just know that our team is working hard to make this thing as amazing as it possibly can be. So give us a little bit of grace as we go through it. But as I've been scrolling through here, what you've kind of seen is the dynamic ability of some of the different pieces of content that you can put in here. So I don't know, John, what would you like me to do? Do you want me to talk about specific pieces, or I mean, I think as the StoryBrand expert, maybe it's good if you kind of walk through how does this answer the StoryBrand problem?
Right. So if you've done a brand script, you know that big green screen that StoryBrand gives us to insert. Here's the character, here's the problem, here's the guide, and here's how you create trust as a guide. Here's the call to action. What's the plan? And what happens if it goes wrong? And what happens if it goes great? So brand script kind of follows that narrative. And so what I've done is taken, if we were to follow the brand script on a homepage, this is how we would lay it out. And of course, there's some stuff here that I've taken some liberties and some stuff that I've even borrowed. But if I was to make a site, having done wireframes, StoryBrand wireframes for 2 years, this is the kind of way that we build it out. The thing is, it's not like there's a StoryBrand exact way to do it. Everybody gets to use their own creative power to build it. This is just how I and other guides have been doing it. So what Matt's going to show you after is how you can customize it in the sense of you want to build a new section out, right? So you can do that. But all the essentials are there. So we talked about how it needs to be beautiful. Well, I think one of the things that Matt's team has done is given you a list of colors, or you get to pick your 3 colors that you can use. You can pick your fonts, but there's font pairings, kind of like if you went to a restaurant and you ordered steak and you'd say, what wine goes with this? They would say, oh, I would pair it with this. So Matt's team has said, if you're going to choose this font as your main headline, here's the good one that goes with it, which is a huge saver for me because aesthetically, you don't always know which ones go together. Do you just pick 2 fonts and just run with it? Well, it's nice to have someone that knows design well, which fonts go well together. So they've done their homework on that. And then you have a blog, and then you have an opportunity for a podcast, or maybe you do events, and you can have it's just so easy. You're going to see it in a second. I'm going to tell Matt to log in, and then you kind of get to see how the sausages are made. All right. So he's going to show you how to update things as if this was your site. So Matt, why don't you go ahead and log in. So you hit a little button on the bottom, log in. By the way, if there's a slight delay in this, I understand it's because we got both of our, we're both contributing here, so it might be a little slow. But anyways, that's let's see it. So you're logged in now, and I'm going to let you actually take over, Matt, because you could probably explain it better.
All right, sounds good. Yeah. So what I'll do here is kind of walk through some of the ideas we had in creating this platform and what that means to you as a user. So I talked earlier about ease of use being one of the most important things that we wanted to solve here. So right out of the gate, one of the most obvious things you're going to see now that we logged in is that we weren't taken to some back-end section where all of a sudden there's all our management tools, and what we have to do there is go change a whole bunch of settings and then eventually come back to the website and hope that the things we thought we changed actually did change the way we wanted them to. But instead, what you actually do is see everything, a lot of the different pieces editing right in place. So all of a sudden these pencils started to show up. So I could edit some of this content here, or I could change my header. We talked about having sections and blocks. So all of a sudden we have this ability here.
Why don't you change the one-liner just to show us what you can do?
Let's do that here. And we're just going to put in some sample content and say, your one-liner goes here. We're going to edit that and say,
grow your business with a okay, fine, whatever.
There we go. Yeah. No, I like it. This is why you're the story brand expert. Grow your business
with a simple website. How about that?
Nice. I like it.
I'll have to think about it a bit more, but you get the idea.
Perfect. So you see here, we could also change the subheadline, the link where it goes to, what the call to action is. Easy to change there. We'll hit save, and we're brought right back to the homepage there. So we got that in action. Now let's say, I'm just going to grab from some sample ones here, but we want to change that top image. So we'll delete the existing one. We're going to drop a new one in here. And I'm going to say, here, let's just see what we've got to work with there. There, it's a nice picture. And we'll customize that. So we're giving you some really basic ideas of how simple it could be to really customize this thing and make it your own. So let's go down here, and we've got some different blocks in here. We've had these different ones. What I want to do is actually
change one of the benefits. Change one of the benefits just to show how easy that is too.
Yeah, that's right. So same kind of similar ideas. The last one where we're brought here, we want to edit that. We're going to say another benefit. We'll put it here, and then we'll link this to the about page or wherever. We're going to update that, and right away now we've changed it. So you just get a general sense of how your basic content would be edited and how simple it would be. I could even reorder these if I was like, actually, you know what, I want to change them to different. So wherever you see these little grab tool, you can easily reorder content. So super simple. Let's actually change some styles. So we're actually feeling like this needs a little bit more color to it. So I can come in here, edit my block. Now the power in here is what I'm personally a little bit floored by, because this is the kind of thing that we've never been able to do in 9 years. And this is really a big part of what we're releasing. So what I can do here is actually change the color out of this by simply adjusting. John had mentioned earlier.
Change. It's unbelievable. Like literally what I'd have to do before is if I want to change one thing, then you got to go and change all the font colors, and you got to go change all the icon colors, but they all change for you. It's amazing. I lost my mind when you did this for the first time.
So a big piece of what we've done here is that often, John, you talked about the idea about blowing up a site. What some administrators can do also is they can actually unintentionally just really make a site not look great, and it's kind of those struggles we talked about earlier of not knowing what really works well. I'll never forget actually for the prototype church website we built, the administrator put up her hand in the staff meeting and was like, how do I change the color of every letter in a word? And I was like, I'm so glad to tell you that you actually can't do that. And the whole rest of the staff team erupted in applause because they're like, yes, like she finally won't be able to make things look terrible. And again, it's no slight on her. She doesn't know how to design things. That's not her background. And so what we do is we have you choose your colors. You say, hey, this is the color palette that's going to work. And then those are what you have to work within. So if you want to pick a different color here, you actually have to go to the brand colors of the website, and then you get to pick a totally different one. So yeah, we can pick some different pieces there. We can also come in here and change the height of this. So if we really want something to stand out or be a little bit smaller, you can actually adjust the height. What I can also do is, let's come in here and we're going to pick a background. And so let's just remove this guy. I'm going to pick one here. Just pick these nice people. And what it's going to do is, let's go back to our opacity and drop that down, and you see that the people have actually appeared right in our shot. I could even say, well, you know what, I want to get their heads more, or I want to get their feet more, so I can actually change the focus of that depending on the photo you've added. So really, really powerful. This might get a little bit detailed, but for some of you who know about parallax or different background styles, I can actually set some background motion on this and say, let's give that some parallax effect. So what that does here is you see that it kind of scrolls a little bit as I scroll. And I can also say that actually this would look really good fixed. And so what that does is it means that the people just stay in place as I scroll. So there's an unbelievable amount of power we're giving you with just little drop downs. So we're making it look really simple, but it's actually really neat how much it does. And it's fun to watch how dynamic this can instantly make a site feel as you change these different pieces. So that's a little bit about block editing. Let's say you were also working on a site and the site was live. Just so you know, you also have the ability to even publish or unpublish it. So I can actually turn off this block for external users. So now I just see this as an administrator, but no one else would. So some really neat little subtleties built in there that are helpful.
Right.
I can also say,
if you're working on something and you don't want it to go, like,
yeah,
I don't want anyone to see this yet.
Yeah, exactly.
One section. Yeah.
You also have the ability, so we talked, well, actually we haven't talked in a lot of detail about this, but one thing that has dramatically changed in the web in the last 5 to 10 years is the amount of people that are on mobile devices. I think so often we build websites on desktop computers or laptops, and what happens is that that's the way we think about it. The reality is that the stats are unbelievable in terms of how many people are actually accessing our sites on phones. It's actually typically over 50% of people. So it's dramatic in that regard. So one thing I want to tell you is that right out of the gate, all of these sites are mobile friendly for tablets and mobile phones. So as I shrink this down, you'll see that things automatically adapt to the size. And so this is what someone who pulls up our site on a phone is going to see.
Which is such a cool thing, because I've gotten calls from clients saying, hey, what happened to my mobile version of my site? It's totally like something will be totally off. And I'm like,
yeah,
oh, we should have checked that before. And,
yeah.
and we totally missed it.
So because we're kind of just like giving you everything that you need, you don't have to worry about, well, how's this going to look on a phone now that I've done this? It's all just kind of happening for you as it goes. What I want to also show you is that we've got this right image with the left text. Changing this is also incredibly simple now. So you come in here and we have this tab called layouts. And what it's going to do is show you all the different ways you can present this particular type of information. So let's say we want to make the image a little bit, not quite 50-50. So I'm going to do that and set layout and watch what happens here. It's going to just adjust it for us. Or I might say, you know what, let's flip the thing around. I actually want it to be, I want the picture on the left. And so you can pick it that way. And so really, really simple to come in here and swap things out. But there's also all different types of content you might want to add. So we're seeing some of that variety here. Here's our blog post that we come in. I'm actually just going to quickly delete this so you can get a sense of what it would look like to add one of those. So we're going to come in here. We've got our pencil tool and we've got the ability to add blocks or reorder blocks. So let's click here and add a block. And we're going to come now right on this top here. You see we've got all these different types of content. So we can add events, news, contact information, image links. But we saw there a second ago that we had some blogs. So the blog post you saw a second ago, I think was this one here. But I want to add one that has the picture on the left with the blog post on the right. So we're going to create that block. And right out of the gate, it's going to give it to us. So we don't have any sample content loaded in here yet. So let's do that first. And I'm just going to sit here and add oopsies, I'm getting.
I don't like that one. Why don't we do that? I don't think it looks good.
Fair.
I like the way I did it.
Like I said, we are. Like I said, we are in a demo mode here. We're in real time. Okay, so anyways, that's how simple it would be to swap to a different one. And then I might want to come in here and I can add a background if we want to. There's some nice people.
There's nice people. They look like they're happy people having fun.
So again, what you're going to be able to do in real time here is be able to say, okay, the background's a little bit busier, so I don't really want to quite see them as much. So I'm going to make that a little bit darker. So you get that sense. And then, you know what, our blog is really important. So let's really give this a little bit more space here so people can see it. And yeah, There you go. And then I could also say, actually, I don't want this to be full screen. This one particularly is going to be contained. So then you can pick the contain width there. So it makes it a little bit smaller. So yeah, quite a lot of flexibility in that sense. So yeah, hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea. I see Alyssa's just asking, what is this platform built with? And so the answer to that is that we've actually built this entire thing from scratch, like right from the first line of code. So it's not built on any pre-existing platform. It's actually our own system. We initially thought about, should we use WordPress? Should we use kind of one of these out of the box tools? And I think the problem with it is that one, a lot of those tools are built for anybody and everybody, which means that they want the experienced web developer to have everything they need. And often what that creates is really busy interfaces where you have 40 options that you really only need to see 2 or 3 things. And so with that, because we built it from the ground up, we were able to only show you exactly what you needed to see when you needed to see it. And so that's why when you come in here, every button you see kind of makes some sense. Like this is something you might have to learn, which is that this is your kind of page tool editor. But everything else is like, well, I assume this is going to edit my image. I assume this is going to edit my block. I assume this is going to edit my text. And so everything becomes really, really intuitive. So for some of you too, what this might mean is that you might be tasked with the job of setting up your website, but maybe someone else is going to be administrating it. So this actually allows you to say, here, secretary, here, assistant, here, whoever, your job is to take care of this. And you're not going to have to be like, oh, and I have to teach them everything, or they have to know something dramatic. They don't. It's actually something you can pass off to anybody. You can also set levels of permissions where you could say, okay, Tom, you're able to edit this particular section of the website. And so when he goes in, he doesn't actually see any of these edit buttons. He just sees edit buttons on that section that he's asked to. So there's really a ton of power in this thing beneath the wings. And again, I think what's really fun is that we're announcing a new platform today, but it's actually got 9 years of bug repairs and enhancements into it, where it's actually tried and tested. So you're not going to come on and say, okay, I hope this thing works and we're going to have about 6 months of bug reports. No, basically this whole thing's going to work right out of the box.
Yeah, a couple other things too that I think are worth mentioning is you have all your social shares at the top and then at the bottom as well. And then or social links, I guess. And then Matt, that little plus button is pretty cool at the very top as well. Why don't you just show us what happens when you hit add a blog? See how easy that is, because I was amazed. This was so helpful for me, because look at this. I mean, you just hit that thing and then you can hit your own blog, go to a blog post.
So one thing I want to say too is that some of you, hopefully everyone's kind of tracking as I've been showing you how to edit things. What I can actually say that's crazy is when we train someone. So again, when we have Betty and we're bringing her on board to work with this platform, I can genuinely tell you it takes about 4 minutes to train someone on how to use it. So what I'm going to show you here is how to edit a blog post. And if we had some kind of certification badge or something like that, we can give to you. You are officially a Clear Sites certified editor, because you know how to basically use the whole platform from this point. It's really that simple. So what I'll do here is just say sample blog post. Sorry, John, I'm probably letting you down here, not having some great story brand centered content.
You stay in your lane. You stay in your lane, Matt.
That's right. That's right. I'll make sure the websites work. You worry about the fancy. Here we go. Don is going to be our author of this particular blog post.
Yes, we have Don on staff.
Yeah, we can associate this post with particular sections of the website. We don't have any sections built right now, but this is kind of neat if you want to kind of attach this blog post to a particular service that you offer. That can get really powerful. Then I'll just paste some sample text in here. And this has obviously all the kind of main characteristics you'd want in a blog editor. Just kind of the Word doc type stuff, where you can come in here and do everything you'd want to do, such as, establish this as a headline. We could obviously do block quotes and indentation and bullets and all those fun things. I can attach an image to this post. So again, we're just going to come in here and grab some sample content, some rocks. Nice.
Yes.
We could put a video in here. Might as well just grab one just for fun, so we can see what that looks like. We could attach files to it. So if you had a PDF you wanted people to download as a reference guide, if you had anything, a poster for some reason, you could attach those to a post. You can tag it. So one thing we haven't really touched on in a lot of detail yet is there's a ton of SEO built into this. These websites rank incredibly well. So when John was talking about the lonely website that no one knows about, your websites, as long as you're using them and get content into them, we've coded this in such a way that it's incredibly clean for Google to come and scrape and read everything on the site. So if you're putting in here different things for your business, like you're going to want to talk about your, your categories. What
I like watching you scramble to find creative stuff. It's fun.
Right? I know.
Yeah.
John, here we go. Perfect.
John,
what it does
good
here,
job. So if anybody's looking up John, this blog will come up. Yes.
Exactly. But you get the idea how simple it is. And I'll show you in a second here. Why don't we hit save on this? And I'll show you what this does, though. And it's really neat in terms of getting those keywords in. So we got our sample blog post, subtitles there. Donna Paulson, immediately pulled her in. There's our photo we added. There's our text. We actually uploaded a video. We did a lot of things in about 3 minutes there. And first of all, congratulations. You're certified now. We'll have badges out to all of you really soon here. But you now know how to edit the entire platform. But you can come in here. And then what it also did was added these keywords. Now, this might look like nothing dramatic, but I often say you can't expect someone to Google you and show up for it if you don't actually say the words anywhere on your website. And so sometimes it can feel a bit awkward to get categorizing words into your content. It's like, well, how do I say chiropractor in Idaho right here? It doesn't really fit in my text, but you can put chiropractor Idaho in every single blog post you write, every single piece of content, just by categorizing it. And then it also actually creates a page for it. So if I hit this category, I'm going to see all content tagged with Idaho or chiropractor or whatever it would be. So that is all built right into it as well.
Brilliant. That's so helpful. So helpful.
Yeah. I also want to show too, one type of content we didn't actually show was a video piece of content. So John, you talked about what an effective job that can do on keeping people on a website. So let's add another block here. And we've got some video style blocks over here. So let's do that. We're going to create that. So it loaded that in by default. I'm going to put a heading and say a little bit about us. And then I'm just going to grab a sample video here. We'll paste that in. And
you hit subheading.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Nope, good. It's okay. No one's perfect.
Just buy me some time here, John. Entertain the folks.
You could change the L to an I, and it could be a latte bit about us, but a lighty bit too.
Nice work. There we go. All right, you're done. You're done.
I know the pain.
Okay. So again, we got our block here, so we're gonna sharpen it up a little bit. Or hey, let's take it just another step further, just to give you a sense of what's possible. And I'm going to jump over to our settings here. 1 second. And I'm actually going to show you something I haven't shown you yet, which is that you can actually drop a background video URL in here. And
the opacity probably.
Oh, thank you, John. You're good. This is great doing a co-webinar. But now we can actually drop in background videos into any piece of content anywhere on the site. So again, just like a really this is actually, again, I've talked about having built this platform for 9 years. This is actually a shocking moment to me, the amount you are now able to do. We've been asked for so many years, hey, can we do this? Can we do this? And we're like, yeah, we're not quite sure how that's going to work. It's all here now. Everything you could need to do with a website, I swear, is now ready to go. John, you did mention too about fonts. I want to show you how simple that kind of stuff is. So you actually have a tab in your administrative tools here called Design, where I can come in here and we can actually say, well, how do you want your headers to typically look? Do you want them down, bottom, left? Do you want them there? So lots of flexibility. Do you want the headers to have background colors? Do you want the headers to have opacity? So you can set all those kind of things for you. So we'll just set that there. But what I wanted to do here is show you have a tab under your design menu called fonts. And so this, John, this is where you were talking that you can actually pick from a whole bunch of preloaded fonts in your system, but you can also say, hey, recommended pairings. So I might want to say Roboto or Source Serif is my best.
Do you have a Comic Sans in there? What does Comic Sans pair well with? I'm sure Brian Koning, I can read his mind. He's already ready for Comic Sans,
Perfect.
Sorry, Brian, I didn't mean to throw you under the bus there, but Brian and I go back.
So those of you with a sharp eye here will notice that we've actually now adjusted the headline font here. So I'm going to delete this guy. This was that sample one we had created. We don't want him right now. But you see now that our headlines have all been changed right across the entire website. So just by picking that different pairing, you have a whole new kind of look and feel to the site.
And maybe there's somebody. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm not sure if everyone's tracking this right now, but we're about to turn all of you into website developers.
That's right. There you go. Everyone that wanted to be one, at least. I'm sure that those are the ones on the call. But yeah, Matt, this is super exciting. I think we've got a ton. And one of the buttons on getclearsites.com is schedule a demo. And so we can show people more stuff. But I think Alyssa was asking about different pages. Alyssa, you can build every page just as if it's a home page. You saw what we did with the about. Literally, we were like, should we show that? Maybe we shouldn't, because it's not really as poppin', because about pages are so different, right? But as long as you have like a beginning picture on the left and text on the right describing a little bit about why you're the trusted guide, and then a video is usually good in there too. Maybe your company values, but I mean, everybody can put anything they want. It's so different on the about page, but it's an important page because it actually is statistically the second most looked at page on any one. So.
Yeah, I think the other thing worth mentioning here too is that we're still a few pieces left to develop, but what we're going to have for you is templates with pre-built about pages. So us saying, here's what we think makes a great about page. So your starting point is already going to be with essentially a populated website that you just have to go and adjust the content. You can do anything you want in flexibility wise, but we're going to make sure that right out of the gate, you have a smoking about page, a great sales page, a great contact page, all those different pieces that people might need.
Yeah, and landing pages are always easy to build too, right? Like you have unlimited pages. That plus button that you hit gives you the option to create a new page, and then you could just build it out like as if if you have a campaign you want to run, and you can put it right in there and build a landing page right out of the blue. So very easy to do, and flexible for what you need in your particular business. I think it goes over every industry. I'm just wondering, Matt, this is a great question. What do you do about Shopify? Would you send people from your Get Clear Sites platform over to Shopify to actually do the final sale? Probably, right?
Yeah, there'd probably be a couple good options there. One would be that Shopify actually can provide buy now buttons. So you could actually completely customize your landing page of selling whatever service or product you have, and then just simply embed their buy now button. And then the buy now button would then take them over to your Shopify cart. So we haven't built any fancy integration with Shopify, but I think the user's experience there would actually be fantastic. And who knows, I think the best part about a platform like this is that as we continue to build enhancements, if we find that's a really valuable piece for people, maybe we build a Shopify integration. I definitely wouldn't put it past us. I want to answer one question from Gene here about meta tags as well. So what I'll do is I'll actually quickly demo this for you. That at the bottom of every single page, we might improve this. This is not my favorite user experience right now, but down near the copyright, you see this little thing here? This is because only us real nerds like to get in on the meta tags, but it's good, it's valuable stuff. So you can actually click this, and of the page you're on, you can override your page title that appears up here in the top piece. You can override your keywords, and you can actually write a meta description. So there is some great SEO customization available there for any page of the website if you really want to optimize any given page.
Right, got it. Okay, well, our little eggheads are in the way of that, so we didn't get to see that. But I love that it's there. I need to know that it's there because I love doing the SEO stuff these days. I'm competitive by nature. I want to compete for my clients to get them at the top. So I'm just geeking out on SEO stuff. So that was one of the first things I asked you is, in this new platform, can we do our custom titles? Can we keyword jam and not all that stuff? And you're like, yep, no problem. So it is doable and it's easy. So
yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, we got to respect people's time, but I just want to just go over some of the stuff just by means of summary. What you get with the Get Clear site, you get a customized theme for StoryBrand sites, which the public is just dying for. I think it seems like it. You get a simple to use platform, as you saw, easy to make edits. You get human tech support, which is huge for people like me, because you don't want to just look at tutorials all the time. You don't want to go to age-old chat rooms or forums that haven't been updated in a long time. And so you actually pick up the phone and you can call somebody for actual support.
Can I hold on, John,
Help.
before you jump past that one?
Yeah.
I actually don't want to undersell that piece. I meant to touch on this earlier, but I'll just take 30 seconds right now and say, one of the greatest pieces we've been able to set up with our team is that we take all of the technical aspects off your plate. So some of you might be saying, why is this better than setting up WordPress.com? Why is this better than setting up Squarespace.com? We actually have a team who's going to take care of your domains, your DNS,